We're looking at a fantasy epic that totally flips the script on what it actually means to be powerful. It takes all your standard role-playing game tropes, the glorious hero, the squishy healer, the evil demon lords, and just turns them completely upside down. So, what happens when the world's most overpowered mage genuinely believes he's, well, completely useless? That brilliant piece of dramatic irony is what drives this entire story. We follow a young man named Lloyd, and his imposter syndrome is so massive that it totally blinds him to his own god-tier abilities. I mean, imagine being able to alter the very fabric of reality, but going through life convinced you're just a burden to everyone around you. How does someone even get to that point? Section 1. The Making of a Mage. To really understand where Lloyd's deep insecurities come from, we have to look at his brutal origins, the intense trauma that literally forged his magic. Now, historically, white magic is just viewed as mere support magic, but Lloyd? He was trained by an S-ranked witch named Marin, and trained is putting it incredibly lightly. Under her completely unhinged tutelage, Lloyd was literally dropped into monster-infested woods with nothing but a tiny knife, and forced to survive for a week using only his basic support magic. He couldn't fight off giant wolves or massive spiders directly, so he had to push his healing, speed, and detection spells to absolute absurd limits just to make it out alive. Marin would constantly drill this one warning into his head. No matter how strong you get, you can't let yourself get lazy. Her brutal punishments, like literally roasting him with fire if he was too slow, and her constant warnings against arrogance actually came from her own tragic past. She'd once lost everything because of a student's arrogance. But for Lloyd, this well-meaning, albeit incredibly harsh teaching, permanently instilled a deep-seated insecurity. He always thought he was weak. Section 2. Dropped by the hero. Unfortunately, that insecurity only got worse when he finally stepped into the real world to find work. He ends up in the absolute worst environment you could imagine, a super toxic party led by an arrogant, self-proclaimed hero named Alan. In combat, Lloyd is out there casually breaking the laws of magic. He's casting chantless, team-wide stat buffs instantly. At one point, during a fight with a massive Cyclops, he preemptively boosts his team's defense so they can block fatal blows without a scratch. He is single-handedly carrying these battles from the sidelines. But what does Alan do? He takes all the credit for every single victory, just assuming his own natural talent is shining through. And the ultimate betrayal happens right after this. Lloyd actually saves Alan from being completely crushed by an unstable golem, and Alan's response? He yells at him for getting in the way. Then he literally fires him, claiming he's useless and does nothing but stand in the back. It's a heartbreaking moment that perfectly reinforces all of Lloyd's childhood trauma. Alan kicking him out firmly cements Lloyd's belief that he's nothing but a burden without any real talent. Section 3. Joining an S-rank party. But, hitting rock bottom is exactly what Lloyd needed. A chance encounter at the Adventurers Guild leads to him being forcefully recruited by you, an actual S-rank adventurer who immediately spots his potential. You gives him a simple test to join the party. Just cast a buff on the team. So Lloyd instantly casts Strength, Defense, Speed, and Vitality simultaneously without even chanting, pulling his staff right out of thin air. The party is absolutely stunned into silence. But because of his trauma, Lloyd totally misinterprets their silence as disappointment. He actually starts apologizing for only casting 4 simultaneous max-level buffs. It's crazy. The contrast between his past and present is just staggering. Alan's group was this toxic, ungrateful environment that constantly tore him down. But Yoi's S-rank team? They're collaborative, they're appreciative, and they're empowering. When Lloyd does something incredible, they actually praise him. They treat him to dinner. They value him as a person. And he quickly proves that value goes way beyond just combat. The party's former healer had to step down because her little sister, Sylvie, was turning to stone from a lethal Magistone curse. Lloyd just steps right up. He spots the mana corruption right away, and then invents a complex spell completely on the fly. He drains the excess dark energy while simultaneously healing her mana loss. By saving this little girl's life, Lloyd finally starts to realize the immense value he brings to a supportive team. Section 4. The Demon Invasion Plot. But of course, there isn't much time for story shifts into high gear. Strange, totally unnatural monster swarms begin devastating the countryside. While on a quest to save some local farmland, the party runs straight into a massive swarm of monsters. They discover these dark magic stones planted in the fields. It turns out these stones were placed by a demon mastermind named Michael, and they're using dark orc magic to lure and control the monsters. It reveals this massive, highly coordinated plot to wipe out the adventurers and eventually the great city of Ishtar itself. Faced with these overwhelming odds, Lloyd steps up and reveals himself to be an absolute tactical genius. First, he buffs the archer's weapon and body so they can completely shatter the control stone from a massive distance. Then, when the battlefield gets covered in thick smoke, he uses telepathy to spot flying targets and feed their exact coordinates to the archer. Finally, when their attack mage runs totally out of energy, he transfers all of his remaining mana to her for a huge area of effect clear. The crucial takeaway here is that Lloyd isn't just some passive healer. Operating on pure RPG mechanics, he is a flawless, proactive battlefield commander.
Section 5. The Battle for Ishtar.
This tactical brilliance is put to the ultimate test when everything culminates in a massive, multi-front war against the demon forces. Tracking the timeline of this climax is wild. Right in hour 1, the so-called hero Alan literally cries, punches one of his own teammates, and abandons his post as the monsters approach Ishtar. Meanwhile, out in the forest in hour 2, Lloyd and a rescued demi-human named Claire are stealthily taking out the control stones. By hour 3, Ishtar's defenses are crumbling against demonic golems. But in hour 4, Lloyd arrives and casts a city-wide buff on every single adventurer and knight, entirely turning the tide of the war. Comparing these two side by side really captures the thematic core of our explainer. Alan blames his team and totally abandons the city. Lloyd empowers his team and risks his own life. Alan has embarrassingly weak damage output but steals all the credit. Lloyd drops god-tier buffs but remains completely humble. The story brilliantly subverts standard RPG class expectations, proving the support player was the true anchor the entire time. And you have to understand the sheer scale of this battle. 10,000. That is the staggering number of monsters marching on the city. And how does Lloyd defeat them? He actually doesn't slaughter them. Remember Claire, the demi-human princess? Well, her magic allows her to sing and speak directly to the hearts of monsters. So, Lloyd amplifies her magic using his immense support spells, broadcasting her calming song across the entire battlefield. It works perfectly, causing all 10,000 monsters to simply turn around and peacefully go home.
Section 6. A New True Hero.
It's just an unbelievable victory. With the invasion thwarted, the aftermath forces both the city of Ishtar and Lloyd himself to seriously reevaluate what true strength really looks like. When Lloyd wakes up after collapsing from Manag Hausgen, he finds a massive crowd waiting to honor him with a brand new title, Ishtar's Hero. The adventurers publicly acknowledge that they only survived because of his buffs. But staying totally true to his character, despite saving the entire city, Lloyd hilariously tries to run away from the praise. He literally leaps out of a window to escape the spotlight. It just proves his humble nature remains completely intact.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought. What if the absolute greatest strength isn't dealing the final blow, but giving others the power to fight? In a world that is so obsessed with main characters, with doing the most damage and getting all the glory, maybe the ultimate hero is the one who steps back, supports their team, and makes everyone else invincible. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and keep questioning what true power really means.